As you can see, the Harley Davidson truck behind me unloaded all of these beautiful machines. So we're gonna not waste any more time. We're gonna get you guys on some test rides here. I'm gonna take out a couple bikes. I'm probably gonna throw a curveball in here, and I'm gonna do something wild because they have the Pan America CVO, and I have not been on one in a very long time, so we'll get you guys on one here. All right, you guys, so it is Friday. It's the last day of May. So June 1st is my son's birthday, which is tomorrow. So today I'm heading out to Newcastle Harley Davidson. They're doing their test ride event. It's today and tomorrow. Since it's his birthday tomorrow, I'm going to have to go today. There might not be a lot of people, but I'm going to get on the bikes and ride. Gonna give the dogs some treats here because they've been good all morning. If you own a dog, take care of your dog. Let them know you love them. So super excited. Newcastle Harley has these test ride events. Every single year they do it. And what it is, you show up to the dealership and you get to choose any one of the new motorcycles that have come out, and you get to take them on a test ride. It is a guided test ride, so you don't get to really go fast or have like a crazy amount of fun on them. But the fact that you can go there and ride any make and model of the 24 Harley Davidsons that you want is absolutely awesome. So I'm gonna cut to the chase. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna go enjoy a beautiful day test riding 24 model Harley Davidsons. All right, you guys, so I'm signed up. First bike that we're gonna ride is the CVO Pan America. So very excited about that. And we're gonna take a ride on it. I'm gonna let you guys know how I feel about it. I might ride a Fat Boy too and a Breakout, because those are two bikes you have never seen me ride on this channel. I'm super excited. They said this is a 12-mile ride, so the route is about 12 miles. I think I'll really get a good feel for this bike, so we're gonna get on her. Man, I really like the way these bikes feel. It's a little hard to get used to the foot position on here because you're back really far. My feet are a lot further back than mid control, but for an adventure touring bike, this is probably what I would expect. I felt the suspension lower as soon as I turned the bike on. You turn it on, you don't really hear too much. There is a vibration. You could still feel a vibration on this motorcycle that shakes through you, lets you know that you are on a Harley Davidson. But the exhaust is super quiet. All right, so hopefully I don't stall this thing, because even when he was giving me the walk around on this bike, it requires a little bit of extra throttle to start going. He said it really doesn't like to shift until around 6,000 RPM. Alright, so I'm following this guy out. Man, this thing is just smooth right now. So I'm in third gear right now, at 50 mile an hour. I got the windshield in like a medium position and it feels really good. The shifting is very intuitive. I can barely put any pressure on it with my foot and it's shifting very smoothly. So I'm in 4th gear doing about 54, which is lugging it a little bit from where he said to be at, but man, this thing feels super lightweight. The riding position's very nice. My hands are a little lower than I would prefer them to be at, but you can always put taller risers on any motorcycle. Man, I love the features of this bike. He did say that you could switch the modes, which I'm going to do right now. You can switch the ride modes without letting off of the throttle, without hitting the brakes. You literally just reach up and press this button right over here on your hand control, and man, you could tell a little bit of a difference on it. Yeah, it gives you a lot more power. One thing that I noticed about this motorcycle that is a lot different is your turn signals are European style. It is down here by my left thumb, and you press in one way, and they should self-cancel, he said, by lean detection. If not, he said you just secondary press either in on that button or to the right of that button, and it automatically cancels itself. Very smooth riding motorcycle here. 56 mile an hour. We're at about 4,000, almost 5,000 RPM in 4th gear, and it's really smooth. Tell you one thing I noticed about the engine is it's not vibrating at all. It's super smooth. It's relatively windy out today, and this windshield is cutting the wind directly over me. I could feel a little bit of wind on my hands, but almost nothing on my chest. I can adjust my seating position and my ride position and still be entirely comfortable. You barely touch the throttle, and this bike gives you some go. So I really enjoy this engine. Since it is that new design from Harley Davidson, they've only had it out for about 3 years, but I find it absolutely amazing. It's breathtaking how much power they can get out of these bikes. If you guys follow Harley Davidson or any secondary manufacturers, you've seen that these motorcycles have been in the Bagger Race League, and I've seen a couple different companies that have actually taken these motorcycles and slimmed them down, made them into like track style motorcycles, removed a lot of the electronics off of it, and just took that powerhouse 1250 engine. So this bike produces more horsepower than any other Harley Davidson in the lineup. Yeah, this engine wants to live at high RPM. Even downshifting is super smooth. I just downshifted from 3rd into 2nd at about 38 mile an hour, and it did not lunge me forward. It didn't throw me forward at all. Still in 2nd gear, you guys. Look at this. It does feel a little weird. Like, I know it likes to be at them high RPMs. Second gear, well over 5,000 RPMs, and this bike does not let up at all. I mean, 3rd gear, you're doing 50 mile an hour. What more do you want from a Harley Davidson? Really nice bike. I love this motorcycle. I want to hit a couple switchbacks here so I can tell you about the lean angle and how it feels. Super lightweight. I don't want to drop down in the first, but I probably should, but I'm not. I'm just going to give it a little gas out of that bend. Yeah, this bike is amazing. If you have not rode one of these Pan Americas, the Pan America Special, get out and do it. It costs nothing. All you have to do is have a motorcycle license and head down to your local Harley Davidson dealership, and they'll be more than happy to send you out. So I downshifted in the second gear, 45 mile an hour, and it feels great. The engine really starts purring once you hit 5,500 RPM, around 6,000 RPM. This engine really starts performing. It's amazing to see something like that coming from Harley Davidson. There's a lot of Harley Davidson riders that were waiting and anticipating an adventure bike from Harley, and they finally put it out, and this thing does not disappoint. They're very fun, very capable bikes. Gliding over these bumps here. This is a very rough road, this section of it right here, and handles it like nothing. And you can lean this bike very easily. It's super nimble. It honestly feels like I'm on a 250 dirt bike. I'm an aggressive rider, I'm not gonna lie. I would live in sport mode on this motorcycle, but let's switch it out. All right, there's rain mode. Back to street mode. You do kind of feel a lag if you're going from sport mode into rain mode. You do feel that gearing difference when it shifts over, so that was really weird. Even the RPM range kind of sounded different. The tone of the engine changed, so it's really cool to see all this technology on Harleys. All right, I'm gonna bring it all the way down the first gear for this one. I really like the sound of this engine. Really like the sound of this engine. Back down the first gear. Turkey buzzard in the middle of the road, and he did not want to let go of that raccoon heart. Did you see the goats? That's the kind of stuff you run into in Pennsylvania on a test ride. And this bike here handled flawlessly. I was able to grab some front brake, and it automatically engages that rear brake as well. I was able to downshift in the first. Man, I really do like this bike. This is a gorgeous route here, and this bike just leans amazingly. Well, we just almost got ran over by a school bus. I'm gonna have to ask the guy behind me how well the bike braked for him, because man, that school bus came over. He had to get right behind me there, and he had to do it very quickly. All right, that was a nice route, I'm not gonna lie. I highly enjoy this motorcycle. Super easy to maneuver, super easy to back up as well. Get it over as close as I can here. absolutely amazing motorcycle. Well, Harley Davidson, I'm absolutely impressed with this one. So the first thing I could tell you is the seating position on this is completely different from anything that I am used to. So you got to stretch out your legs a lot to get used to this, but it feels really good with this rear tire being so wide. But I have to lean forward to get on the bars, and my feet are stretched out because it's forward controls. The style of this bike is absolutely amazing as well. All right, so the first thing I can tell you about this, the acceleration is definitely there. The seating position's a little awkward for me. I do kind of like the forward controls on this though. Definitely can feel the wind on your entire upper body. So from my belly button up to my head, I can feel the wind. But this 117 does not leave you wanting anything. The power is there. The acceleration's there. I am smashing my shin on this air cleaner. Absolutely smashing my shin on the air cleaner. So if I was to buy one of these, I would have to change that air cleaner. I would want some taller bars. I feel like I would need some kind of like ape hangers or something on this bike. It does not lean as well as the Pan America. You really got to kind of lean into this one to make it turn. I think that's due to the massive rear wheel. Yeah, definitely leaning back here with just one hand on it. If I was able to get my hands up here, maybe 6-inch taller bars than where we're at right now. Maybe some 10-inch bars would be really nice on this. Yeah, let's give it a lean. Yeah, you really got to move this bike to get it to lean. My bike still feels day and night more aggressive than this. I just don't like how much wind is on my upper body. I guess if I was taking this motorcycle for short rides, like 2-3 mile rides at a time, maybe 10-12 mile an hour rides, I would feel all right, but I would not take this motorcycle across country. Shifting's a little bit weird where I have to put my boot with this shifter. Since it's so far forward, it's a little bit uncomfortable for me. As you guys could tell here, it's a very small screen, but it does have my RPM, so I could kind of see now what RPM range I'm in. But I haven't had a problem with just filling the bike out without seeing that RPM range. Yeah, I don't like the way it turns. Definitely don't like the way this one turns. There's almost no back support, and I'm in like a weird, I'm kind of slouched over in order to grab these bars, so that's going to be real weird for me to get used to. It's also, I would say, 10 degrees colder on this bike than it was on the Pan America, because the Pan America kind of had that windshield on the front. I just think this bike looks really aggressive. To me, the Breakout is one of the most aggressive looking bikes that Harley produces. It kind of gives you that custom chopper look and feel. I already noticed coming to that red light when I downshifted, you could feel the downshift a lot more than you were able to feel the downshift on the Pan America. The Pan America is just a very great bike. Let's see how we feel this bridge deck. Yeah, very violent. Pan America suspension was day and night better. But this Breakout's nice. It's just, it takes a lot more effort to lean and to move. If I had to compare this motorcycle to anything in the way that it feels, it reminds me of a Sportster 48 With the forward controls and the lower bars, this feels like a larger Sportster 48. So if you're coming from a 48 or one of those style Sportsters 1200s, this may be the way that you want to go if you're stepping up to your first full size, I should say, Harley Davidson. I don't think I'm going to get too much more for you guys here on the Breakout, but there you go, 2024 Breakout. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride. All right, so the next one we're going to take out is the CVO Street Glide. I told you guys I'd throw a couple curveballs in there. I did that with the Breakout and I did that with the Pan America. Now we're going to go with the CVO Street Glide. I want to see how this bike performs. This is still the VVT. Right, you guys, so as many of you know, I am not a huge Street Glide fan, but we're about to see if that changes. So right now I am sitting on the CVO Street Glide, and I really like the display on this. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of this here console that just pops out for you, because you can put so many things in there. I kind of feel like Will Ferrell and Step Brothers. There's so much room for activities. So much room for activities. You can do anything with that. Put whatever you want in there. You could put a gun in there. You could put a knife in there. You could put a cell phone in there. You could put illicit materials in there. You could put some legal stuff in there. You could put your notepad in there, your little memo book. You can put whatever you want in there. Pictures of your family. All right, so we are on the CVO Street Glide VVT. Does not disappoint in comfort, I'll tell you that. Definitely a very comfortable motorcycle, but other than that, I don't know. I don't know if I'm still not a Street Glide guy. I had one, had a 2009, sold it, but I'll tell you what, this one is a lot lighter. Seems like it has a better lean angle on it. The CVO models do come with the hill shifter, so I highly enjoy that. The screen is absolutely gorgeous, so you guys can see this whole touch screen on here. It's a very large. All your dials are on there. You can press some buttons here. You could change what is on your screen. So you could have your tire pressure. You could have nothing. You could have your compass. You could have your trip and your average fuel mileage. So saying miles per gallon 30 on this. Or what I prefer right there is your temperature and your fuel range. The radio is pretty impressive. I can hear it quite well, even with this windy helmet on. This visor is like windscreen here is doing absolutely nothing. There we go. That's a little bit better. The engine's too quiet for me. CVO, Harley Davidson, this engine is quiet. Way too quiet for me. But you know me, guys. First thing I would do, different exhaust on this bike. The suspension is really rough on this CVO. I cannot believe it. But honestly, the Pan America was a softer ride than this. This suspension has kind of beat me up on this bike. It is noticeably lighter. You can tell that this bike is noticeably lighter than previous year models, but with it being that light, it still doesn't corner that great. So I feel like I still have to kind of muscle this one around when I turn. I can lean easier on this than the Breakout, but it does have a smaller rear wheel. It does turn very well. It handles around the bends very well, but Man, for a CVO, I think this is a great bike. I really love the premium features on it. The tank emblems, I love the sound system. The speakers are absolutely amazing. I love the color on the bike. The suspension and the handling kind of lacking a little bit. I feel like you can get the same handling and suspension out of the regular Road Glide that comes in at $26,000 this year. So to me, I don't know if I can justify another $20,000. To you, is the premium one-off paint? Is the premium radio? Is that the selling point for this one? I don't know. If you ask me, not for me. I'm more performance oriented. The VVT on this leaves a little to be desired. I feel like the 121 that's on the CVO Road Glide ST is going to be a day and night difference over this. But even just the regular Road Glide, I was extremely impressed when I rode the regular Road Glide this year. I mean, blew me away, hands down, the comfort and the performance and everything. So if it came down to buying this CVO or just the regular base model, I would choose the regular base model, hands down. You guys, I will tell you what, one of the features that I really do like about this motorcycle is the turn signals. These little triggers right here that you just slap with your thumb for your turn signals on both sides are very nice. They feel very, very good. So I never thought in a million years, giving you guys this test ride, that I would compliment the turn signal buttons on a motorcycle. But yeah, if I could say anything, that's the most impressive feature about this motorcycle, is them little turn signal buttons. Man, the suspension, I've bottomed out 3 times on this Street Glide. On a CVO Street Glide, I have bottomed out 3 times during this test ride. I just don't feel as comfortable on this bike. I don't know what it is. I don't like the VVT at all. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I can feel it. I can kind of feel it restricting and telling me like when or when I don't need power. And all that does to me is it makes me feel like the bike is lugging. Like, that's all it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like there's any performance gain out of it. It almost feels like there's only a performance loss. Yeah, I don't know what this is, but it ain't that. You guys, I think I may be converted. I think I might be an adventure bike rider after this. I mean, the performance, the handling, the suspension. I'll never get rid of my Lowrider S. You could guarantee that. For the grand finale, I'm going to ride the CVO Road Glide ST with those absolutely beautiful carbon fiber accessories on it, and the brand new for Harley Davidson. I don't know if you guys have seen these rotors, but they look like Galfer wave rotors, but I'm pretty sure they are Harley Davidson. So we'll get on that on ride 5, then we'll get something to eat and we'll get out of here. CVO Road Glide ST, carbon fiber all over this bike, rear canister shocks, premium brakes. Everything about this bike is absolutely premium. We're going to take it for a ride. I'm going to let you guys know exactly how I feel about it, since I just rode the Street Glide CVO We're gonna see what the actual difference is. If I notice a difference, I could already tell you right now that the bars are a huge difference. So the seating position is gonna be a little bit different. It has that ST seat on it, so you are getting somewhat of a little bit of lower back support with that seat, and you're getting the premium rear suspension as well. So we're going to be able to tell if the canister shocks on the rear are day and night better than what is coming on the regular CVO Street Glide. All right, so the first thing that I did was I adjusted the rear canister shocks. I took them 3 clicks softer. The carbon fiber on this bike is absolutely gorgeous. You can see how it's all pressed carbon fiber, and then you can see the 25 year badging, 25th year of the CVO. So if you go into the settings, you could actually change the display right here, and I'm changing the layout. I don't want it on sport, I don't want it on touring. I'm going to put it right back to cruise, which is where I like it, because look how much information you get on cruise. I like to see what my range is for fuel. I like to see what my engine temperature is as well. The floorboards are very small on this. If you could see them floorboards down there, they're very small. This is a new design for Harley Davidson. They've never done that before. I don't like these air cleaners. These smash my leg every time. Every time I put my shin on there. But on the CVO, there's about 1.5 to 2 inches of clearance between my shin and that air cleaner, where before I didn't even have that. We also have the Rockford Fosgate premium speaker package here on this one. You have the push button lids on this side. They're a lot smaller than the tray that you get on the Street Glide CVO, but they still give you plenty of room. You could get a set of gloves in there. You could get a bunch of fun things in there. You could actually get a full-size cell phone in there compared to previous years. And we're off. All right, so this does not have the hill shifter like the Street Glide does, but already, man, a lot less wind is on me. This bike handles very well. It seems to take off a lot better than the CVO Street Glide did. I blame that on the VVT. Everybody loves that VVT, but I'm not a fan. I thought that these handlebars were going to need to come back a little bit more and angle down a little bit more, but they don't. They're absolutely in a perfect spot for me. My back is straight. I'm in the seat. Just the seating position on this is so much more comfortable for me than the Street Glide CVO. Man, these brakes are amazing. These brakes are absolutely amazing on here. I'm barely fingering this with one finger, and these brakes just grip. They're absolutely insane. The CVO Road Glide ST, by far, hands down, the best bike out here. Still not really that much sound out of the engine, but for a stock motorcycle, you hardly ever get any sound out of these new engines. Everything's EPA compliant. The floorboards on this bike, for them being so small, you don't even notice it. I'm stretched out very comfortably. I even slid my front feet even further forward, and I still have half of my boot on the floorboard. I can lean this bike a lot more comfortably than I was able to do on the Street Glide. I remember when I was hitting some of these corners on the Street Glide, I felt apprehensive about actually leaning the bike. And on this giant touring bike, which with this front fairing makes this bike feel like it's larger than the Street Glide, at least to me. But I feel like the handling is day and night better. I wonder if that's just because there's no weight mounted to the front forks. Your fairing is fixed to the frame of the bike, which takes a lot of weight off of the steering, allows you to manipulate the bike a lot easier. If I barely roll on the throttle, it throws me back into my seat, which is exactly what I expected. I could take this bike from here to California and have no issues with it. The Street Glide CVO, I would have to replace the rear suspension. That was the big bump that I hit on the Street Glide that jarred my back. I just smashed over it on this and didn't feel anything. So is it worth it to have the upgraded suspension on this bike? 100%. For me, yep, take my money. The CVO Pan America was by far the most comfortable and aggressive riding bike until I got on this. This bike is every bit as comfortable, and dare I say more comfortable, because the seat that comes on this ST with that little tiny swoop in the back for that back support does a great job. My voice didn't even get choppy over these bumps. That was a very bumpy section right there, and I didn't even get choppy over it, which means that it's very smooth. The Pan America felt aggressive, but I feel like this has just as much power. I mean, I'll tell you, if I had the money, I'd buy the bike right now. It's that nice. Man, this thing is an absolute battleship. I really want you guys to get out there, go test ride one of these bikes. It costs you nothing. You're using the dealership's money. You're using their gas. The only thing is, you're probably going to get a phone call from one of the salespeople a couple times asking you if you want to buy it, which we already know you want to buy it. It's just whether you're going to or not. This is definitely the one. If it came down to a choice, it would be this over anything. Well, there you have it. CVO Road Glide ST high output 121. Beautiful coloring. Rear shocks are worth their weight in gold. This bike is an absolute monster. Harley Davidson, you knock this one out of the park and into the next galaxy. This bike is absolutely flawless, hands down.